just fucks with us, makes us think, hey, is it contagious? Well, the scientists have had, hundreds of years, and certainly in the past 50 years, they've had the best fucking equipment money can buy. The most powerful fucking microscopes on the planet. And still, just the simple task of taking some bodily fluid from a sick person, isolating what you think is the Let's talk about the microorganisms. Have you seen photographs? I'm not talking about those 3D, 4D image models of some little ball with spikes on it. I'm talking about those black and white photographs of a wiggly-squiggly thing with little spikes on it, or little blobs on it, Now think about it. How many wiggly-squiggly things are in our bodily fluid? And where the fuck would mankind begin? Where the fuck would mankind begin with taking a sample of bodily fluid from anyone, but let's just say a sick person? Now, where do you begin? Which wiggly-squiggly, piggly-niggly thing do you decide that you're going to isolate and purify? Well, let's just say that they had to start somewhere. They had to start at some time, right? Because you and me, let's be a virologist, yeah? Let's take some bodily fluid from someone, let's look at it under the microscope, and there's all these little wiggly-squiggly things of different shapes and sizes, And so which one? Well, we'll just have to pick one, right? Just have to pick one. Isolate it, purify it, stick it into a healthy person, let's see what happens. Well, nope, nothing happened. So on to the next one, on to the next one, on to the next one.
Can you explain the process of HIV isolation?
Well, didn't Dr. Gallo do that? I mean, he actually isolated it.
I'm not quite sure what's behind your question about isolation.
I don't want to be your textbook, Okay. I got other things to do.
And then you need to isolate the particular microorganism that you say is causing illness. You need to isolate that from the bodily fluid, because the bodily fluid's got a lot of stuff in it. Lots of little wiggly-squiggly motherfuckers inside your bodily fluid. There are, And somehow scientists are supposed to pick one of those little wiggly-squiggly things, find out which one is the evil motherfucker, yeah? And then they're supposed to take it out of the bodily fluid, and they have scientific processes where they can purify and isolate so that only that microorganism can be seen. Everything else has been made to disappear. And then they're supposed to take just that microorganism, whether it be one or a fucking million, but they're supposed to take it, or they, and stick it into a healthy person who's then supposed to become sick. And there's no scientific papers that prove that that has taken place.
During this past year, I have spent countless hours looking for evidence that these simple steps were done for the illness called COVID-19, and that the virus called SARS-CoV-2 was properly isolated and characterized. To my shock and surprise, neither I nor anyone else I know looking into this issue has yet to find a single published study that even attempted to perform these simple and doable experiments. To my further shock and surprise, I found that not only were these experiments not done with SARS-CoV-2, but they were also not done with AIDS, Hep C, measles, or any other illness supposedly caused by pathogenic viruses. As shocking as this may be to hear, I now ask that if you dispute this, please make available the paper or papers that successfully did these simple experiments. The usual excuses for this utter failure to perform the proper scientific experiments are such statements as, well, there's not enough virus material to see in the sputum of sick people, or viruses are intracellular organisms and therefore can't be found in this manner outside the cell. My response is, if there aren't enough viruses can't be found from the tissues or secretions of sick people using an electron microscope, then how can these same unfindable viruses have the potential to kill us all? And if the viruses can't be found outside the cell, so therefore don't exist outside the cell, then how on earth does it spread from person to person? Finally, it is incorrect to say that this procedure I outlined above is just one way to isolate and characterize viruses. The reality is, it's the only way. Clearly, logic and common sense dictate that if you have not isolated the thing you are looking for, there is no possible way to determine what the thing is made of or what it alone does. The implications of what I am saying are enormous.
Think about this logically. How many fucking different microorganisms are in our bodily fluids? Well, where does the scientist start? Where does the scientist start to decide which one of those little wiggly-squiggly things doesn't belong there and is an invader? Where do they start with that? Well, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's say that, well, you know, they started it long ago. Let's give them credit starting around the time of the electron microscope, which I think was the 1930s. So let's say starting in the 1930s with their electron microscope, one by one, they begin to, you know, each time they take some bodily fluid from a sick person, and so, and then they look at all the little wiggly-squiggly things in that bodily fluid. Well, they obviously had to say, okay, let's start with this one here. Let's start with this one here. Let's isolate that, purify that, stick it into a healthy person, see if it makes them sick. And it didn't. So, all right, well, we've got a picture of that, so we know we won't isolate that one anymore. Let's pick the next little wiggly-squiggly thing, you know, isolate it, purify it, stick it into a healthy person. Nope, didn't make them sick. All right, well, take a picture of it. Let's give it a name or a sequence number or something, you know, a data number to put it on file, and let's go with the next one. And so apparently that's what they've been doing since the 1930s at least. And not one of the fucking little wiggly-squiggly things that they've removed from the bodily fluids of a sick person and put into a healthy person has made the healthy person sick. Not one.
What you looking at, man?